So guys, in order to process a PDF, if you remember, let's go back to our presentation. We will see that PDF is a type of document file. It's the same category of a, for example, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, okay, and so on. Of course, if you want to read the content of PDF or read or write the content of PDF, you need to use a third-party library because Spring Batch doesn't offer anything out of the box. So there is a lot of PDF libraries that you can use, but let's suppose that we want only to import those PDFs, actually like take some PDFs from our directory and put to a server without reading the actual content. So I'm telling you PDF, but it could be an image or something like that. So in that order, in order to process PDF files, we are going to create here job config for our PDF. But before that, we need to generate our PDF. So in order to generate our PDF, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to see, for example, simple PDF files for testing. Let's just, for example, use this one. I have been using this one. It's very nice. So let's just download. I will be back once I finish creating our PDF files. So guys, we are here. We are back. I have 5 PDFs. If you just open this PDF, you will see that it's just a dummy PDF file. So this is what we are going to do here. We are not going to read only one PDF at a time. We are going to read all PDF at one time, okay? And I think later, if we got time, we are going to upload those PDFs to a web service, which will be in the writer side. So for now, I think, once again, let's just copy this job config. So instead of JSON here, just put here resource, import vehicle resource job config. I'm just going to think PDF as a resource. Okay, let me just for now comment this. Why I'm commenting this? Because I don't want to specify here on our job trigger, okay, the type of job. Because if we have only one job, we can just, for example, inject here the job and say job launcher, okay? But if we have 3 jobs, we need to specify which job we are going to launch. Okay. Yeah, now, the next thing that we need to specify here, for example, let's go once again to our application property, and here on our application property, we can, for example, say here, resources, okay? And will be something like PDF, okay? We are going to process everything that is a PDF. As always, here, we're just going to set, oops, my bad. We are going to set here, PDF. I think it's like that. Now, this is where we can start thinking about our readers. I think the processor, we can just leave it like that, okay? Now we start thinking about our readers, okay? Read, write, and so on. So we can just delete it. For now, we just have the job and the step, okay? So the first thing that we need to think about is what we are going to read. Here, if you remember, guys, we will read JSON or something like that. But for now, we are going to read the actual resource, okay? Remember, it should be the resource from org-spring-framework.core.io, not other resources that you can find here. So we are reading resource, okay? And we are going to map the resource to a type. It will be a type of upload, let's say file DTO, okay? Because we are going to upload these PDFs to server. I think we can just go here. Let's say DTO, okay? And let's create here our DTO. Our DTO will contain, for example, string file name and, for example, the file itself, just like this. So this is what we have here. For example, here the chunk, let's put 2 for now, okay? Here the job name can be, for example, import, is it vehicle? No, this time is invoice, okay? So import invoices, just like that. So here also import invoices. So remember, we are going to read a resource, which is any kind of document. We are going to transform it to a Java object. So now the next thing that we need to do is to think a way that we can, for example, read our PDF. So PDF is not, we are not going to read a PDF as a JSON, of course, not as a flat file, as a text file, right? So in that order, I'm just going to use something very nice, okay, that will allow us to actually read multiple PDFs, which is new from Spring. So it's resources item reader, okay? So resources item reader will allow us to read multiple resources. So now we can just, for example, here instantiate it like this is equal new resources item reader. And then the resources item reader, we can set resources, okay? Where is our resources? Is here, right? We have an array of resources. Here, return our resource item reader. So in our step, right, we can set our resource item reader. Now our processor is complaining, okay? Now it's time that we can, for example, move to something better, okay? So for example, instead of, let me just put here now, for example, instead of having our processor and our writer here, what we are going to do here is now we can start externalizing the behavior. For example, here we have the job config, okay, we have the reader. Now we can, for example, create here a new package for processor. So here we can just say resource item processor or invoice, okay, resource item processor like this. And as always, we need to implement the interface item processor. If you remember, the item processor receive a type and return another type is a functional interface which contains only one method. So if we go back here, this is the place that we are going to receive, right? We are going to receive a resource. Remember, the resource should be the Spring, this one here, okay, org spring framework.core.io, and the return type will be upload file DTO. So now let's implement the method. For now, for example, the first thing that we can think is to log. Let's just log here, cell4j, which is the Lombok one, okay, this annotation from Lombok. The first thing that I'm gonna log is the log.info. For example, I'm just going to log here something. Processing the item, processing the, here will be the item. And in order to make it more clear, the stage, let me just put it like this. I'm just trying to print something here, okay? But of course, you could always think which kind of log level you are using. From item, we are going to map, right? We are receiving a resource and we want to map it to our upload file. So in that order, let's just instantiate here, for example, upload or file to upload will be equal new upload file, which receive the file name, so item that get file name and the actual file, okay? So we can just go to item that get file. Yeah, I think this is what we need. I think we don't need to do anything else here. Let's just return it like this. Refactoring, yeah, let's just return it like this. So we can just, for example, set it as our component, okay? So guys, when you externalize something like this, you can think, okay, now that it's me, right? It's me that I'm creating here this item processor. So you have to test your item processor. So for example, like this, test it. Let's just create here a test. So in order to test, I think we could, for example, say here, should process. Given, guys, think about the best practices, okay? Because I will do a refactoring, okay? Think about the given, when, then, all the strategy, okay? So for now, let's just create here a simple test. For example, let's use our path, okay? Path is equal, this should be paths, okay? Path.off. For example, let's go to our data, right? Which is this folder here. And let's get, for example, a file, okay? Invoices.pdf. As you can see, okay, this is very nice way to get the path. So what we are trying to test here, we are going to test if, for example, when we use invoice resource item processor, let me just put it like this, var item processor is equal, just like this, new invoice item processor. So given this file, given this resource, when process, so then we are going to do the assertion. So if you remember, if we say here, for example, item processor that process, it will need a resource as item. So how can we create a resource in order to pass in this method? So in that order, we can just use, for example, what Spring what Spring framework, okay, offers to us, which is path resource, okay, because we cannot, let's say, we cannot instantiate the resource itself. Resource is an interface, right? So we are going to use the path resource, just like this. Let me just var resource is equal new path resource, which receives a path. So in our case, let's just use here the path. Now, when we process this resource, the method throws an exception, but in our case, let's just use the sneaky throw. Let's put the real annotation first, okay, in order to make it easier. So when we process this, so what we are going to expect, we are going to expect that the file name, we are going to expect that the file will actually exist, and the file name should be equal the file name that we have just provided, okay? So for example, here we can just use assertions null, okay? Assert not null. We are going to say, okay, the file to upload that file is not null. So we are going to expect that the file will actually exist, and also we are going to expect assert equals. We are going to say, for example, this path that to file that get name should be equal the file to upload that file name. So this is a very simple test that we are doing here. So in that order, let's run our test and let's see if our item processor is doing well. So as you can see, it's working. And if we put here a breakpoint, once again, if we go here, the result, as we can see, file to upload will match the one that we are passing. So why I'm trying to show you these, guys? Because let's go back here on our job config. When you create, for example, a reader like this, not changing the behavior that Spring Batch offers to us, it's okay. You don't need to, for example, externalize unless you want, but you don't need to externalize it to another class, because we are not going to, for this particular case, okay, we are not going to test it separately because the framework has tested it. But when you create your own customer implementation, anything, you have to test it. So that's why we are testing it here, and we are seeing that the expected is equal the actual. So I'm just showing you guys how you can unit testing every single component of your Spring Batch. So now that it's working, let's use it here on our Spring Batch. So in order to use it in our Spring Batch, let me go back here. So it's a component, okay? So we can just inject it here. So we are going to inject our item processor. So it's invoice item processor. So we are injecting by using the constructor injection. So now that we have here our item processor, let's use here invoice item processor. Okay, it's okay now that we have here like this. So for now, we are not going to test it as a multi-thread test. And the writer, I think for now that we don't have the web service that we are going to upload the file, right, that we are getting from our, let's say, resource to file upload. Okay, let's just test it like that. So in that order, let's run our application and let's see. Oh, my bad, I'm running the test. Actually, we need to run our application just like this. Yeah, let's run and let's see if it will process. Oops, we got an exception. Could not resolve. Okay, input folder vehicles.pdf. Okay, so okay, it's not PDF, but it's resource. Okay, so here instead of PDF it should be resources, like this. So once again, let's run our application. Okay, as we can see, all right, we have put it here, guys. We have set here, as you can see, guys, the chunk is 2. Okay, the chunk size is 2. So what we have here is, first we process the 2 ones, right, the 2 files. We write the 2 in chunk, the same. So we process 1, 2, then we reach the chunk limit. We write both of files, okay, as a single unit of work, as you can see here. So now let's see if we can run it by using task executor in order to run it in a multi-thread environment, okay? And yeah, as we can see, we are dealing with concurrency, right? And in order to use the multi-thread step right here, we need to think about our reader first. If our reader is thread safe, if it's thread safe, we can use it. Okay, so let's take a look at the documentation. Item read with produce resources, blah, blah, blah. Okay, as you can see here, the example. And let's see if it's thread safe. Okay, thread safe between call, okay, open, and so on. So we can assume, okay, that this reader is thread safe. As you can see, if once you see the atomic integer concurrency step, I think already it's thread safe, okay? So if you remember, it seems the same that we have done in the previous example, right? Setting synchronized and so on. So now that we know that it's a thread safe, now we can run it using the virtual threads approach. Okay, now let's run. All right, so guys, now you can see that even if we put the chunk limit, now you can see that we are using multi-thread, okay? Because as you can see, our virtual thread here, task executor, okay? Let's just put here, like for example, resource. Let's run once again. Okay, yeah, now we can see that it's using the correct name. It was working also, but I'm just fixing here the correct name. So let me stop. What we have here in comparison, running a single thread and multi-thread, we can see that we gain in terms of execution time and in terms of processing. So as we can see, we have this one is running this file, okay, this particular file here. Let me see, the invoice number 3, okay, it has been processed in its own thread, which is the number 2. This one here in number 3, this one is number 1, 0, and so on, and then we are writing them, okay, in different threads. So this is very nice, guys, very nice way to scale our application. Of course, we are not scaling like, for example, using the remote chunking or remote partitioning, which we have videos, okay, about this, okay, but now we are using like the new Spring Batch and the new version of Java, which allows us to do the same with more efficiency. So yeah, this is what we have. For example, if we want to now let's suppose that we want to process, let me just put here like these resources, okay, just like this. For example, let's move all of them here and the resources, and here it should be vehicle, okay, data that, okay, I think we have also here in our test, because later people would say, oh, the test is not working. So now, as we can see, it's going to resources, okay? So for example, let's suppose that we also want to process images, okay? Let me just get here some image from my folder, and let me put it, for example, here, like this, okay? Yeah, nice. So let's suppose that we want to process everything that we have in this folder. We can just, for example, come here and say, okay, we are just going to process everything, I think like this. So let's just see. Yeah, okay. As you can see, we are not just processing PDFs, but we are processing also PNG. As you can see, PNGs. So we have here some PNGs, okay, and we are processing them, okay. How do we process them? We are just using a class a reader that Spring Batch offers to us, which is the resources item reader, okay. You don't need to do anything else, and we are processing using multi-thread with virtual thread. I think the next thing that we need to do here is just, for example, let me think if we can improve our example. Okay, guys, it's very simple. I will share with you guys the code, exit the presentation mode, okay? And yeah, this is what we have. We just need to create our item writer. Let's go. So in order to create our item writer, we are going to show you the microservice that we are going to use in order to upload, okay, the files that we are processing here, okay? So let me just show you my microservice. I will share the code, okay, with you guys. This is my microservice that actually receives, okay, the files and upload it to a MongoDB database, okay? So for example, we have here the method upload. In this method, we will receive the file name and the content as base64 or byte array, okay? So in that order, for example, we can see here in the Postman, the microservice is running in this port, okay? So in that order, for example, I can just specify here the name of my file, for example, my file.png, and here I specify the content. So in order to specify the content here, I can use this web application here, file to base64. So I'm just gonna choose a file, okay, from my directory in order to convert it into base64. So let me just grab this file here, okay, yeah, I think this one here, or even this one, okay, and let me convert, okay. Now I can just copy all the content and paste it here on my Postman, okay. This is the base64. So I know that we can upload file as, for example, form data, okay, but actually this was another microservice, so I'm just using in order to make this tutorial more funny. So let's, for example, take a look here on our microservice, and now let's upload the file, okay. Once we upload the file, as we can see here, okay, we got a response, okay, which is, let me just show you guys here, okay. We have the file DTO, which contains the code of the file that we have just uploaded, okay. And for example, we can just grab this code and go back to our browser in order to see that we actually uploaded the file, okay. So let's just specify localhost, I think it's 20, yeah, this is the localhost here, and here, okay, we can just paste the code of the file, okay, and here we are, okay. So we get we get the file, okay, by passing here the code, and the API that allow us to get the file once we upload, okay, once we upload is this one here, okay. So we are going to use our Spring Batch in order to communicate with this microservice. We are processing all those files here, okay, all these files here, and now we are going to upload it to our, let's say, server-side microservice. So let's do that.